Hello everyone, welcome to this session. We are discussing past year papers and we are currently doing the legal reasoning analysis, the legal reasoning section of CLAT 2026 paper. And so we are reading the passages, we are looking at the questions, we are finding out how this thing is relevant, how to eliminate the option, how to arrive at the right answer. So continuing the discussion, let's start with this passage. This is the last passage of the legal reasoning in CLAT 2026. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so this passage is about same-sex marriages. It says that same-sex marriage has no legal recognition in India as per the recent Supreme Court's judgment, where it was decided that this is an issue for Parliament to address. So it is the legislature issue. It is the issue where the Parliament can make laws regarding the legalization of same-sex marriages, and Supreme Court said that it is for the Parliament to address and we cannot do anything about it. So while Hindu marriages between transgender persons and cisgender men are permissible, and the court acknowledged systematic discrimination and the right to choose a partner, it held that there is no fundamental right to marry. So there is no fundamental right to marry, very important to note. The government has been urged to form a panel to consider granting more legal rights to same-sex couples, but the legal status of marriage remains unchanged for now. The 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court Supreme Court of India in Supriyo versus Supriyo Chakravarti and another versus Union of India case, in a majority verdict ruled that there is no fundamental right to marry under the Indian Constitution. Again, the same thing has been reiterated, that there is no fundamental right to marry under the Indian Constitution, making it beyond the court's scope to legislate on same-sex marriage. The court stated that the power to legislate on the same-sex marriage rests with the Parliament and the state legislature. If they come up with a law regarding that, so that will be followed. So the court left it for the Parliament and the state legislature to legislate on the matter. The judgment affirmed constitutional rights for LGBTQ plus citizens and the right to choose a partner. So this is what the judgment has affirmed this. The government agreed to set up a panel to explore legal rights and benefits for same-sex couples, though these benefits are not the same as those conferred by marriage. So of course they're seeking exploring the legal rights, exploring the benefits of the same-sex couples, but of course these are not those that are conferred by, not the same as those conferred by marriage. Same-sex couples cannot legally marry and do not receive the same legal rights such as automatic inheritance, pension or adoption rights that legally married couples do. Despite the ruling, LGBTQ plus couples continue to face legal discrimination and have no social recognition of marriage. The court affirmed the right of same-sex couples to cohabit privately. While the Supreme Court's verdict brought limited benefits and acknowledgement, it has not legalized same-sex marriage in India, deferring the ultimate decision to the Parliament. So that is the passage that talks about the rights available for the same-sex couples. How is it different from the right that the legally married couples have? So whether it's pension, whether it's inheritance, whether it's also adoption, all those rights are not available for the same-sex couples, and the Supreme Court said that it is for the Parliament to decide, and the Parliament or the state legislature, when they come up with any law, then that will be followed. As of now, there is no fundamental right to marry. Let's see the kind of questions that are there. In October 2023, two individuals in India, Ramesh and Samir, who identify as a same-sex couple, they sought to legally solemnize their marriage. Based on the Supreme Court's ruling, what is the current legal standing of their ability to marry? Option A says their marriage is legally recognized nationwide under a new constitutional right. Is this the correct option? Because the passage has explicitly said that the same-sex marriage, see the opening line of the passages, same-sex marriage has no legal recognition in India as per the recent Supreme Court judgment, that this is an issue for Parliament to address. So no legal recognition in India. So when there is no legal recognition of same-sex marriage in India, that means A is not the correct answer. We can eliminate option A. Option B says their marriage is not legally recognized, as the Supreme Court ruled that this issue is for the Parliament to address. Exactly what I just read from the passage, directly given. You don't have to apply much brain here. You can choose option B as the correct answer, but let's look at option C and D also. C says their marriage is recognized only if both of them identify as transgender. This criteria is not mentioned anywhere in the passage, and there is no such law, there is no such rule, so we will eliminate option C also. Option D says their marriage is temporarily recognized until Parliament decides otherwise. So this temporary recognition is also something that they have it's not there in the passage, it's not given in the passage. There is no such rule regarding temporary recognition. So we will stick with option B, which is the correct answer, that the marriage is not legally recognized, and the Supreme Court ruled that this issue is for the Parliament to address. Same passage, next question. During a legal proceeding in India, an advocate argues that the Supreme Court should directly legislate on same-sex marriage because the right to choose a partner inherently implies a fundamental right to marry for all citizens. How would the Supreme Court's judgment likely to counter this argument? Option A says the court acknowledged the right to choose a partner, therefore it would agree to legislate on marriage. Option B says the court held that there is no fundamental right to marry under the Indian Constitution and such a policy can be made only by the Parliament. Option C says the court has held that it will set up a panel to look into the fundamental right to marry. And option D says the court upheld the fundamental right to marry but declined to recognize same-sex marriage. So directly given in the passage several times that there is no fundamental right to marry. See in the passage, it says that the ultimate decision is with the Parliament, and same-sex couples cannot legally marry, and there is no fundamental right to marry. So it is all it was given somewhere in the passage. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, here there is no fundamental right to marry under the Indian Constitution, so it is beyond the court's scope to legislate on same-sex marriage. Directly given what we see in option B, that there is no fundamental right to marry under the Indian Constitution and policy can be made only by the Parliament. We will stick with option B. The court acknowledged the right to choose a partner, it would agree to legislate on marriage. This is something that is not in line with the passage. Option C says the court held it will set up a panel. This is again an imagination, and this option is bringing extra information that is not mentioned in the passage. This is a pure imagination. Option D says the court upheld the fundamental right to marry but declined to recognize same-sex marriage. No, the court has specifically said that there is no fundamental right to marry. So we will stick with B as the correct answer. Next question. Following the Supreme Court's decision, an LGBTQ plus advocacy group in India aims to achieve legal recognition for same-sex marriage. To which government body or bodies should this group primarily direct its lobbying efforts to secure the necessary legislation? So they are fighting for recognition of same-sex marriage. Where should they go? Who can give them relief? The Supreme Court of India, as they are ultimately responsible for interpreting constitutional rights. The President of India, as head of the Indian legislature. The Parliament and the state legislature, as the power to legislate on same-sex marriage rests with them. The National Commission for Human Rights, to advocate for a new directive. Now, as we saw in the passage, the same issue was involved. It was regarding the recognition of same-sex marriage, and the court said that we cannot help. It is for the Parliament and the state legislature to decide, and they can make law on that. So Supreme Court of India, no. Option A eliminated because Supreme Court raised his hands saying that it is for the Parliament to decide. The President of India, nowhere given in the passage that the President of India as the head of the Union legislature can make a law on same-sex marriages. So President is powerless here. Option C, the Parliament and state legislature, yes, correct answer. C is the correct answer, directly given in the passage that it is for the Parliament and the state legislatures to decide. The power to legislate on same-sex marriage rests with them. So C is the correct answer. The National Commission for Human Rights again is nowhere mentioned in the passage, and also they are not empowered to make law regarding anything regarding same-sex marriage. So C is the correct answer. As you can also see in the passage here, the power to legislate on same-sex marriages rests with Parliament and state legislature. So Parliament and state legislature can help this LGBTQ plus advocacy group that aims to achieve the legal recognition for same-sex marriage. Next question. While same-sex marriage is not legally recognized in India, however, the Supreme Court's verdict did offer some acknowledgements of rights for same-sex couples. Which of the following rights was specifically affirmed by the court? So what did the court recognize? The same-sex marriage is not legally recognized, but they have some recognition. What is that recognition? The automatic right to inheritance for same-sex partners. Do the same-sex marriages have this automatic right to inheritance? Option B, the right of same-sex couples to adopt children jointly. Can they adopt the children jointly? The right of same-sex couples to cohabit privately. Do they have the right to cohabit privately? And the right to maintenance for same-sex partners. Now, as in the passage it was mentioned that they do not have the same legal rights. They do not have the right of automatic inheritance. They do not have the right of pension. They do not have the right of adoption. So other legally married couples have these rights, but the same-sex couples do not have this right. So directly given, the automatic right of to inheritance eliminated. Not it is not in the for the same-sex couples. Adopt children jointly eliminated as given in the passage. Cohabit privately, yes, this is the right that has been acknowledged and recognized by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has also given judgment where they have decriminalized section 377 of the IPC, and this same-sex couples can cohabit privately. So C is the correct answer. Maintenance also not. So no inheritance, no maintenance, no adoption, only the right to cohabit privately that has been recognized, that has been acknowledged. So we will go with C. Ramesh and Suresh, a same-sex couple in India, have lived together for a decade and want to ensure they receive legal benefits equivalent to those of married couples, such as automatic inheritance, pension rights, etc. Based on the Supreme Court's judgment, what is the primary obstacle they face in achieving these benefits? Why they can't have these benefits? They must first register their union with the government panel that was urged to be formed. They cannot legally marry and therefore cannot automatically be entitled to these specific legal rights. These rights are only available to same-sex couples where one partner is transgender. They can receive these benefits if they convert to a religion that recognizes same-sex unions. So of course there is no religion that recognizes same-sex unions in India. So we will eliminate option D. They will not receive benefits by converting. Only available to same-sex couples where one partner is transgender. This again they have imported extra information here. No such requirement is mentioned anywhere in the passage nor in any provision of law. So we will not go with C. They must first register their union with the government panel. So again this is there is no requirement for registering in the government panel. So this again is not the correct option. B says yes, they cannot legally marry, therefore cannot automatically be entitled to inheritance, to pension rights. So B is the correct answer. That comprehensively answers this question. Okay, the last question of this passage. The new acronym that is evolved after LGBTQ plus is the acronym called LGBTQIA plus. In this new acronym, IA refers to. Now this you will not find in the passage. You have to be aware. If you are reading newspaper, if you are exposing yourself to literature that talks about law, that talks about the policies, then you will know the answer to this question. So what is IA? Intersex and asexual, initialisms and agender, intersex and ally, intrasex and androgynous. So of course it's a knowledge based question. So the correct answer is option A. You cannot answer this question without knowing the correct without knowing the answer. So intersex and asexual. I is intersex and A is asexual. Let's also take this opportunity to understand what are the specific things. What is of course, when we say LGBTQIA, L stands for lesbian, G for gay, B for bisexual, T for transgender, then we have queer, we have then intersex and asexual. Let's understand the meaning of these words. Lesbian, as you might be aware, that a woman or a non-binary person who is emotionally, romantically or sexually attracted to other women. So when two women are sexually, romantically, emotionally are involved, in that situation we will say that it's a lesbian relationship. Gay, as you might be aware, that is when a person is attracted to the person of the same gender. So it commonly refers to men, but of course it can be used as a general term for the entire community. So a woman and woman, sexually, romantically, emotionally attracted, that's lesbian. A man and man, that's gay. And gay is a bigger bracket that includes women also in common parlance. Then we have bisexual. It's an individual who experiences attraction to more than one gender. So if there is a person, if there is a man who is attracted to men also, attracted to women also, so they are bisexual. Transgender, it's an umbrella term for people whose gender identity differs from the sex they were assigned at birth. So those are transgender. It's an umbrella term. So any person whose gender identity differs from the sex they were assigned at birth. So if they were born a man, they feel like a woman. So it is not aligned. So the sex they were assigned at birth is different, but their identity is different. So these are the people under the transgender. Then queer or questioning. Queer is a reclaimed term used by individuals who reject traditionally binary categories of sexuality and gender. They say that it is not just male and female. They reject that traditional binary categories, and questioning describes individuals who are still exploring their identity. So there are people who are not sure what their sexual identity is. So they are exploring identity. So they are questioning. So queer or questioning refers to that. The IA that we just discussed, intersex, is a person born with biological sex characteristics. So they might have beard, they might have mustache, they might have the chromosomes, hormones, anatomy could be of a particular sex that do not fit the standard medical definition of male or female bodies. So if there is anything other than the standard medical definition of male or female body, all that comes under intersex. Then we have asexual. This refers to individuals who are not sexually attracted to others. They are sexually not attracted, whether it's male, whether it's female. So these are the people who are asexual. And then we have the plus sign towards the end. So this plus sign, it is in this acronym LGBTQIA, it signifies and includes all other identities. So apart from the ones that we discussed, apart from lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, if there is any other person such as pansexual, non-binary, gender fluid, there is also a term called two-spirit. So these are not explicitly mentioned in the letters, but the plus sign takes care of this category. So that is all from this question. This was the last question of the session. Thank you so much. Hope you understood by these past year paper analysis. Hope you got to know that there are some questions that can be answered directly from the passages. However, there are some questions for which you require knowledge for the current legal GK. So you have to read the newspaper very regularly, and you have to make sure that you have already seen the past year papers, because now that you have seen this at least 2026 past year paper, you have the idea about the kind of questions you are expected to ask, you are expected to attempt, and how to approach the questions, how to eliminate the options, and how to go about the complete this thing. So thank you so much. See you in the next session. We'll discuss other question papers. We'll also take up 2025 legal reasoning section of CLAT. Till then, have a good day. Goodbye.